Well, turning to tech now, the once powerful AOL trying to make its presence felt online yet again. Yesterday, the internet service provider bought 3 .com startups, including the influential blog TechCrunch. In fact, it was announced at the TechCrunch conference yesterday, and the price was a reported $25 million. And AOL says it's not done yet. We're now joined by the company's CEO, Tim Armstrong. He's joining us live in New York from the Adweek conference that Gigi Stone has been talking to us from today. Tim, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Julie, thanks for having me.
So you just finished a big presentation at Adweek on how AOL approaches advertising. And obviously, everybody using the internet knows that it is awash in ads. So how do you have the most effective advertising strategy?
Sure. We're doing a couple things that are very important. I think one is we launched Project Devil this week, which is a redesign of content pages and advertising. And the goal of that is actually to clean up the internet. We did a content study which showed about 18 to 20% of pages are actually content. Pages should have more content. There should be fewer, better ads. And so I think advertising results come down to having a very, very good user experience, and that's what we're focused on.
And talk to me about these acquisitions that you made. Let's start with TechCrunch. I mentioned you made 3 relatively small acquisitions. TechCrunch got the most attention, obviously. With this acquisition, in what direction are you trying to take AOL?
Sure. So, our goal is to become the world's largest digital content company. And the way we're doing that is in a couple different areas. One is investing in brands. We think brands are going to be able to cut across all devices and all platforms. TechCrunch is a very big brand. The second thing we're doing is investing in technology and talent, which TechCrunch has as well. Fivemin and Thing Labs, the 2 other acquisitions, are loaded with talent and loaded with technology and loaded with big distribution. So, if you look at our future vision, it's very well-known, big content brands with very talented people and great technology behind them, cutting through all the devices, digital devices.
So what's next then, Tim? If you're looking to beef up your presence in content, I assume that TechCrunch, for example, is not the last acquisition you're going to make.
We have a very build-first mentality at AOL. We're very careful about the acquisitions that we do. The next step for me is to get back to the office, because I've been out of the office for the last 48 hours, and get back to building AOL's brands, our internal brands, getting TechCrunch and the other acquisitions integrated. But you'll see us continue to innovate our current brands, relaunch them with better user experiences. And then 2 is, we will do selective M&A, probably tuck in M&A like we've done here over the last 24 hours, but we are very focused on the consumer and advertiser experience for AOL's ecosystem.
Tim, I got to ask you, AOL is one of sort of the granddaddies of the internet world. My parents-in-law use AOL, my parents use AOL. So how do you sort of reconcile that reputation of it being, people who are not the youngest who are using it, to this image that you're trying to now craft as having this cutting-edge content?
Sure. So AOL looks a lot more like Disney, where we have the AOL brand, which speaks specifically to trust, and it's one of the most trusted brands on the planet. We also have trust in other brands and very well-known brands in Gadget, MapQuest, MoviePhone, now TechCrunch. So you're going to see a brand portfolio of us, of the mothership brand, which is AOL, and then a connection of all these other brands in these very big spaces. And I think the AOL brand means something very specific. TechCrunch means something very different, and we're going to let the TechCrunch brand flourish and Gadget flourish, MapQuest flourish. So you'll see us with a whole brand portfolio, and we expect that to be a very successful strategy.
Now, Tim, since you guys spun off from Time Warner, I've been looking at the stock price here. It went up, came down, and now it's pretty much where it was at spinoff. So the message that you're talking about today, how do you get that out to investors and get that stock price up again?
Yeah, so to be very specific, because I've been very clear with investors on this, is we are still making changes at the company, and you're seeing the company start to become more successful from a brand standpoint, and from some of the things that we're launching publicly. The numbers are still going to be bumpy, and I've told investors that. And I think earlier in the year, the stock got ahead of itself to some degree because people got very enthusiastic and very excited. Then I think people realized, hey, this is a turnaround. It's going to take time. I believe we are executing on plan for what we have set the expectations on for Wall Street, and we're going to continue just to methodically execute on our strategy. And we have a long-term vision here. This is not a 1 month turnaround of AOL, and we've been clear about that. And we want the only investors in our stock are investors who believe in the long-term proposition of having a top 5 internet brand with a very fast-growing set of strategies around it, and the ability to capture the future upside of advertising and commerce on the internet, which is a very substantial proposition.
Tim, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Tim Armstrong, CEO of AOL, talking to us from the Advertising Week conference. Appreciate it.